For years, the story of IT infrastructure was pretty simple, right? Move to the cloud. But what if that story is over? A global survey over 2,000 IT leaders is showing us a fascinating and way more complex new reality, one that's challenging pretty much everything we thought we knew. So, let's dive in and break it all down.
We're going to start with a number that might just surprise you: 37%. That's the average share of IT infrastructure spending that companies are now shifting back to on-premise solutions. I mean, that's a huge reversal from what we've been hearing for the last decade. And that right there leads to the big question. After more than a decade of everyone chanting cloud first, what on earth is going on here? The answer isn't just about technology, it really pulls back the curtain on the new economic and security pressures facing every IT leader today. So let's start by digging into this so-called cloud exodus. And just to be clear, we're not talking about a full-on abandonment of the cloud. It's more of a strategic rethink, and it's being driven by some very real-world pressures. So what's really driving this shift? Well, it's not just about the initial sticker shock, The total cost of ownership, or TCO, is changing. Think about it. Unexpected cost spikes are hitting almost half, 48% of all organizations. And get this, 44% are struggling just to see where their money is even going. You add major data security concerns and the fear of getting locked into a single vendor on top of that, and suddenly you have a really powerful reason to bring some of that work back home.
Okay, so if everything's becoming this hybrid mix of cloud and on-premise, how in the world do you manage the costs? Well, a new discipline has popped up to be the rule book for this new era. It's called FinOps.
At its heart, FinOps is really about a culture change. It's a practice that gets your engineers, your finance people, and your business leaders all speaking the same language. In a world where IT spending is a live, real-time expense, not some one-time purchase, the whole idea is to get everyone on the same page, taking ownership of their cloud use to get financial control and, just as importantly, predictability. But here's the reality check. Because while everyone agrees FinOps is crucial, check this out. Only 19% of companies actually have a fully integrated strategy. That means over 80% are either just starting out or have no real strategy at all. That's a massive gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it.
And this right here is exactly why that gap matters so much. Get this. Companies that have their FinOps act together, they are 61% more likely to use powerful tools like AI to slash costs. So getting FinOps right isn't just a nice to have. It gives you a serious competitive advantage.
Okay, so this whole focus on efficiency, it doesn't just stop with the money people. There's a related discipline called GreenOps, and it's really starting to gain traction by weaving sustainability goals right into the IT strategy.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. We see a kind of paradox. So you've got this huge number, 89% of leaders, saying, yep, sustainability is important in our IT decisions, but then you ask them if it's a top reason to optimize costs, and that number plummets to just 31%. There's a real disconnect between believing it's the right thing to do and actually seeing it as a way to save money.
So what actually works? Well, it turns out migrating to energy-efficient data centers and using renewable energy, those are seen as the biggest wins. And hey, notice the connection here? The organizations with mature FinOps strategies, they're way more likely to pull off these GreenOps wins too. It's all connected.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, AI. In the world of managing IT costs, artificial intelligence is playing a very tricky dual role. You could say it's a double-edged sword. It's our most powerful tool, but it could also be our next big financial headache.
First, the good news, the silver lining. A whopping 60% of organizations are already using AI for automating IT processes. Right now, that's its most popular job, helping to streamline operations and bring down costs.
But here comes that storm cloud. 40% of those same leaders are worried that AI itself is going to become their single biggest IT cost nightmare within the next 3 years. The very thing that promises to save money could create this out-of-control spending problem if it's not managed properly.
So what's the holdup? Well, the top two hurdles are all about security. We're talking data privacy and just general security fears. And you can imagine, it's pretty hard to get your finance team to write a huge check for AI when you also have to tell them it comes with a whole new list of security risks you need to pay to fix. So what does all this add up to? Well, it leads us to the modern IT playbook, and it's a fundamental change in how we think. Look, the days of a simple cloud-first mantra, they're over, gone. The new game is all about skillfully balancing these competing priorities:
cost, security, innovation to find the right mix for your business.
And this table really lays out that core tension perfectly. It's like a tug-of-war. On one side, you've still got the cloud, which is amazing for scaling up, being efficient, and innovating. But on the other side, that pull to bring things back home is just as strong, thanks to those worries about security, rising costs, and being locked in with one vendor. Success today is about playing on both sides of this chart.
And this quote from the report really says it all. The bottom line, there's no magic bullet here. The organizations that are going to win are going to be the ones who stay agile, who measure everything, and who can pivot when they need to, whether that means moving a workload to the cloud or strategically bringing it back home.
And that brings us to the final question we want to leave you with. In this wild new world of hybrid IT and AI costs, the real question isn't just, can you manage today's budget? It's about this. Is your strategy built to handle the curveballs you know are coming, and more importantly, the ones you can't even see yet?